capable of something great. Some of you do not have that outlet, all right? So what do you do if you do not have that figure that guides you on the path to make you believe that you are worth it and you are capable of doing great things? I'll link you to one of my favorite rappers of all time. I hope Pastor Brian will forgive me for introducing a rapper into the conversation. So Jay-Z, we all know Jay-Z, don't we? Now, Jay-Z, for the longest time in his career, would always talk about how his father abandoned him. But in talking about the hurt of his father abandoning him, he talked about how he learned greatness and wisdom from people who have attained heights, who had written books. So Jay-Z will talk about Rockefeller. If for the boys here, or for the young boys here, even the ladies should as well, look for a video on YouTube, The Men Who Built America. Literally young businessmen, entrepreneurs who had a vision of revolutionizing America. And these are the blueprints where successful people point out to what they see, what they read, what consumes their mind. So Jay-Z becomes successful. He's a billionaire, isn't he? His father wasn't. In fact, his mother wasn't rich either. He talks about being in the projects, even selling drugs for a long time. But he made a shift in believing that he was great, and he was going to be great, and he obsessed over it. So the question is, the minute you become mindful of what you want to do, what it is you want to achieve, there's a tunnel-like, laser-like focus on it. You see how welders work, right? When a welder wants to put something together, they don't spray all over the surface. It's just like one area till it connects. And that's the laser-like focus and precision that you need. So at your young ages now, whatever you need to do and whatever you are going to focus on, the blueprint is there. You might not have your local icons, but there's the internet. You can search a world of information. People have done just that and are building platforms that are connecting you to people that you love to hear from, people that you love to be. There's literally no excuse for anything right now. Information is here. You don't even need to go to school to learn how to cater anymore. You go on YouTube and Sweet Ajele is teaching you Ghanaian foods and Kwanchua. There's so much happening and it's so much easier now. An older uncle said, Kozi, really, you guys have it easier now than we did back in the day. Because there's no internet. There's no place for you to get access to information and whatnot. So opportunities are available in as much as you think opportunities aren't. A distinguished MP who just left said when people were complaining about opportunities, he created 3,500 jobs just for the constituents of Medina. So it's possible. And I think that we need to, let me see, okay, a little bit of time. Nobody has signaled me yet. I was performing your self-image. We often think or believe in the feedback that we get. That's why I say if you are unfortunate to have a figure in your life that doesn't necessarily sow seeds of hope, doesn't speak true things into your life, it's not positive, chances are you might believe the version of what they believe you are. In fact, one of the things, I remember school, way back in school, some of the teachers used to say harsh things to our fellow pupils. It's almost like a Ghanaian thing that, oh, it will toughen you up, you know. But you could literally hear a teacher tell a student that you are not going anywhere. You're always fooling, you're not going anywhere, right? Telling that to a kid is really traumatic. You are told that he's pointing to himself. So there are examples of what people say to you, but it shouldn't define you. Because what it is that change in mindset, once you connect with the power that you have the opportunity to make you better, that your mind can actually create opportunities for you, it changes your life in the most amazing way. Now, Henry Ford. I think when we hear Henry Ford, our mind comes to cars, right? So Henry Ford was the one who said, whether you think you can or you cannot, you are right. Have you heard that quote before? Let's say it together. Whether you think you can or you cannot, you are right. Whether you think you can or you cannot, you are right. Henry Ford said this. Now, he was an American industrialist. He developed an assembly line of mass production for vehicles, okay? He's credited for changing the world of automobiles or cars. He said that if he had asked people back then what they wanted, okay, they would have said faster horses, right? Can you imagine a car and a horse? Don't put the fuel prices into context now and say you want to switch to a horse. Now, they would have preferred faster horses. Someone had been suggested, can we have a horse that doesn't eat? Can we have a horse that doesn't rest? But he then knew that no, feedback in an innovation process could help or hurt. So in asking for feedback in what your vision is, you should be mindful not to sway from what you envisioned it to be. So he said, you know what, I'm going to focus on this one thing. It's going to make cars, make better cars, and produce cars faster than anybody could. So instead of moving from horses to cars, the lesson here applies to the human mind. You cannot outperform your self-image or your perception is to what you can believe. All right, let me take that again. You visualize what it is you want to be. It might be that you've asked somebody a question of what that is, whether it's good for your future. And just for whatever reason, they say no. It is not for you to give up on that dream because that conception came to you and you alone. Often people abandon their dreams based on the conversations they have with other people. It's happened multiple times. I'm sure Denta has a lot of experiences and she's doing so well. People would dog, drop, shift focus just by one negative feedback. Honorable Sosu mentioned how he had run for elections multiple times and had lost. In fact, there was an MP that I won't mention his name. He also said, because I ran for primaries. One time, I even got out of the room and the people I thought had voted for me were laughing at me that he thinks he's going to be MP. Never. And he kept at it. He kept pushing. And now he won his primaries. He won the election in 2020. He's sitting in parliament. He's doing so well. So often, whatever views, whatever dreams you have, it just might be that one person, that naysayer, that will say, don't do it, and will disrupt your entire view and purpose. And that is not for you to give up. Once you've zoned in, once you've thought about it, to conceptualize it is enough. There are a lot of people who fail to even think of what they want to do or what their future even holds. My daughter at 10 years, I asked her, what do you want to be in life? And she says, a doctor. And she says, do you know you've asked me this 6 years straight? And I said, oh, really? It's like, yes. You asked me this when I was 4 years old, and I said a doctor. You asked me when I said I was 5 years, when I was 5 years old, and I said a doctor. And I even told you that what's better than curing people of illnesses? So why do you keep asking me? I said, I just want to be sure you are focused on that vision, you know. So even for her, I know that once she's locked it in, it's for me as a parent to assist her on what she's truly passionate about. If she changes her view along the way, as a parent, it will be for me to encourage. Most of you might not have that figure in your life that sows the seed, that gives you the mind shift for you to believe and for you to be an agent of change, for you to realize your true purpose of impacting lives or helping people. Sitting in the audience today is a young person who's going to do amazing in the field of medicine. It's going to happen. There are young lawyers sitting in the audience. There are young entertainers sitting in the audience. All of you are destined for such great things, but it's important for you to start focusing on what that is by making that mental shift. Most important is walking in the steps. What training tools, what seminars are you going to put yourself to? What YouTube videos are you going to be watching? There's so much in terms of distractions right now in the world. Look, And as much as you're watching a good educational tool, YouTube is going to show you an ad where it takes you off what you are even learning. And before you realize you've clicked on it and you're off your course completely. I think that this seminar, the next 3 days, is going to be really extremely powerful. As you're sitting here, tell your other friends, colleagues to tune in. As I said before, some of the things I've heard today, and what I know now, I wish I'd heard when I was much younger. Now, in conclusion, since Pastor Brian is here, let me end with a not so popular background story of a donkey. A baby donkey is called what? Okay. It's actually a goat. A colt. That's true. And some people say an ass, but it's not convenient where I'm standing right now. So let's just say a baby donkey. So somewhere in 80 BC, a rich young merchant owned a donkey. This donkey served as a beast of burden, would carry loads. Its sole purpose was to carry the produce from the wealthy merchant's farms all the days of its life. Over time, the donkey gave birth to another donkey, a baby donkey. And as the donkey became of age, he asked his mother, "So, what is my future going to be like?" And he said, "Well, you see this load I'm carrying. When you become of age, this is what you are also going to be doing. Now, you take my place, you carry the load, and you serve the merchants just as high up." The donkey died, and the baby donkey took over. The baby donkey, just true to what his mother had said, continued to carry this load from the farms and to help the rich merchants. Now, it literally became the heir of destiny, because that's what his mother had told it. Our destiny is to carry these loads. In its 7th generation, one particular donkey was waiting its turn to also start the journey of carrying loads. This donkey was tied to a tree, and out of nowhere, 2 men came out and said, "Well, it's time for you to go." Now, the merchant who was just around the corner said, "Where are you taking the donkey to?" The men replied, "The Lord needs it." And that was the donkey Jesus rode into Jerusalem. Now, just like that, regardless of your generational history, regardless of what your past has been, you should leave here with a mind shift. A shift in the perception of what your mind could be, a shift in how you can reimagine your life, and most importantly, a shift in cultivating mindfulness, and a shift in performing and outperforming your self-image. Tap the power of your mind. Thank you so much. God bless everyone.